Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daily Defender. Great to be with everybody again, glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying all the videos that we have online. I just put another one up the other day and we'll put another one up here in another couple days. But today I wanted to spend some time on firearm safety. It's an extremely important topic for all of us. I don't think it's ever a waste of time to discuss safety or run over the 4 and 5 basic rules of gun safety. I don't think that's ever a waste of time. Always a good refresher for all of our new gun owners. Even more important, they probably know this. We hope they know that. But if not, if you're still gaining knowledge and still learning all about firearms and concealed carry and the Second Amendment and the firearms industry and all of that is this community, then we want to be talking about good, sound firearm safety. And so just going to spend a few minutes with you today, a short one, but they're important topics. And as usual, and I think all of us try to use the basic 4, I have 5 rules of firearm safety. And we'll just run over those real quick. The first one, no in particular order per se, but we treat every firearm as it's loaded. And that means it really doesn't matter if we take one of these firearms and we've just reviewed it or just looked at it and cleared it, and both of these firearms are clear. But if I pick up this particular revolver, this Smith & Wesson 66 revolver, and I look at it, and I can obviously see it's clear. I've inspected it. It's clear. There are no rounds in the chamber. It is a clear firearm. It's safe. I'm still always treating this firearm as it's loaded. And so that means as we roll into the next series of rules, I'm never pointing this firearm at anything that I don't want to destroy. So when I'm picking it up and utilizing it, I'm not flagging myself, which means I'm not pointing this barrel across any part of my body. I'm not pointing it at anyone else. I'm not pointing it at anything that I don't want to destroy. And I'll tell you, I see this rule broken every single time I'm in a gun shop. I think just about every single time. Maybe not so much from the staff, but generally anybody that takes a firearm out of the case obviously looks at it, ensures that it's clear, and then hands it to me. But even when they're handing it to me, they're really not doing it to ensure they're not breaking that rule. And then when I'm looking at it, obviously I'm ensuring that I'm not flagging the guy next to me or the girl or the person in the behind the counter, etc. And when I'm done looking at the firearm, then I'm simply handing it back to them in a very safe manner. And like I said, I generally see that rule broken all the time. So we're treating all the guns as if they're loaded all the time, and we're never pointing it at anything that we don't want to destroy. And when we are holding this firearm, our finger is always outside the trigger guard. This finger never goes into the trigger and trigger guard until we're up on target and ready to engage the target or the threat. So the finger is never in that trigger guard. I see this also broken, unfortunately, quite regularly on indoor ranges or any range, unfortunately. And we even, I'll see people renting guns, etc., and the range master has to come out. So the other rule is we never have that finger in the trigger guard until we have that firearm up on target and ready to fire. So that's the 4th rule, or I should say the 3rd rule. The 4th rule is we need to always know what's in front of our target and what's behind it. So when we fire that round, we have to ensure that round, we know that nothing is going to cross in front of the target, and there's nothing behind the target that the round could impact behind the target. Obviously less of an issue on an indoor range, maybe a little bit more of an issue on an outdoor range, and of course a very important consideration if you are in a self-defense situation. So you have to know what's in front of your target and what's going to be behind that target. That's rule number 4. And these rules are layered. If you think about it, it's a layered approach. So if you know the firearm, if you've checked it, and you know it's unloaded, and you make a mistake and you have your finger on that trigger, but you're keeping all of the other rules in place, then you're generally going to be safe, right? It's a layered approach that if we make one mistake, if we're following all the other rules, then everything should be okay and safe. But obviously our goal is to follow all the rules all of the time and be as safe as we can be when we're working with firearms, looking at firearms, cleaning firearms, moving firearms. In my opinion, you just have to become second nature, and this gets into training aspects and all of that, but it just has to be second nature that you are always working with these firearms in a safe manner, whether it's a revolver or a semi-automatic. And then I think that also leads to maybe the final point, and that's, or another point is storage. You know, are we always ensuring that we're storing our firearms in a safe manner? Certainly, I'm familiar with, and maybe many of you are too, of the old school police officer that would come home, remove his duty weapon, and maybe put it very high up on a piece of furniture that no child and no one could get to and couldn't even really see. We can still do that, but I think we've evolved in that where we now have relatively inexpensive safes and systems that allow us to store firearms in a very, very safe manner. So I think that's another point that should be made. I think we just hear too many stories of firearms not being stored properly, left in vehicles. I mean, again, I think we all hear the stories, and the number of firearms stolen out of vehicles just amazes me. Especially, we all realize there are times that we have to leave a firearm in a vehicle because there's a law that we can't take our firearm into a certain location or establishment. But just these overnight, burglaries, it seems, out of cars, and just time after time after time, there's a firearm left. So, again, I just don't see the vehicle as the proper location to store firearms overnight or long term, etc. But anyways, that's my opinion. And again, those were really just the points that I wanted to make sure that we covered today. I did the cleaning video the other day, and while we made that point and we're very safe in that, it did click with me that we probably should just do a video on gun safety, right? I never see this as a waste of time. There's no harm in reviewing the 4 and 5 golden rules of safety again, just to make sure we're remembering and shaking dust off. Anybody can get complacent, especially when you're working and around these firearms day in and day out, year after year, etc. But it's like anything. It's a little bit like working high voltage electricity. You can never really let your guard down or make a mistake, because the day that you do, you could have a tragic result. So firearm safety, firearm safety, firearm safety. Again, I don't think we can say it and practice it enough. And I just felt obligated with the Daily Defender to put out this video, to just talk through that, talk through those points, and be safe. So hope it was helpful, especially for our new gun owners. Maybe it helped all of us just rethink safety, and appreciate you stopping by the channel for a few minutes to listen to that. And we're very happy that you're all looking at the videos that we're putting up. Again, the views are just continuing to grow. Still can use lots more subscribers. But we appreciate the time, appreciate you stopping by the Daily Defender, and we'll have another video out on another topic real soon. Thanks again.